And so with this knockout, how did you set that up? Is that something you were working on camp? Because people, well, okay, your boy, right, Soda Pop, he's predicted it. He's
Uh-huh.
like Wonder Boy circles to the left.
Yeah, yeah,
And so is that something you saw in there and like you wanted to isolate him against the
yeah.
cage and like land this shot?
So the whole team, so obviously, I got my man Reggie Thomas and I got Edric Dillard that was in my corner. So one is my boxing coach, which is Reggie Thomas, and then overall MMA, overall just like, just game planning and everything of that nature. Edric Dillard, somebody that I've been rocking with since high school. This is who also I created the solid foundation with. So when we was game planning, we just knew that Wonder Boy, a lot of times when he goes up against the cage, he kind of settles himself, right, to go either left or right, But a lot of times when he does that, he squares up his stance. So the opportunity that came, you can't just throw with Wonder Boy because he's going to see it and he's going to slide out the way, because that's literally what he's expecting. You to throw a wild punch, you to throw a wild kick, and for him just to just narrowly, just move his head out the way and for you to miss. So one thing that we just plan to do, once we got him up against the cage, get him used to us wrestling. Get them used to us wrestling, seeing that same pattern, that motion, changing levels, right? Coming underneath the hips and taking the shot. Once he got set to that pattern, right, and he kept sliding towards the cage, and it was in the second round. That's the funny part. It was in the second round when I first did it. I fainted
You missed.
and I missed. Yeah,
Yeah, I saw
yeah,
it.
yeah, and he slid that way. But the reason why I missed is because I didn't use my feet. I just jumped into it, right? I did not use my feet to get closer or to advance closer, and he was able to slide out. So this time, just having that adjustment in my head, I'm like, okay, we know he's going to do that same motion again. This time, just time it right and move the feet closer to connect with the chin. So as we fighting in that third round, we just setting up, we just fighting. But once I was able to press him, he's throwing his shot backward. That's what a lot of guys don't realize too. When Wonder Boy is shooting his shots and he's moving backward, he has no power. Yeah, he can touch you, but he has no power moving backwards. And a lot of guys, when they just get touched, and even if it's barely, they stop. They stop their feet against Wonder Boy, right? And that allows Wonder Boy to get his space back, and he can use his side kicks or he can use his hooks. But us, we said F that. We just gonna keep moving forward. So once we kept moving forward and his back bounced off the cage, I knew there was an opportunity. He could not go anywhere, right? Even if he tried to slide out, it's still the timing was going to be off. His attacks wasn't going to be there because he cannot punch off the cage and he cannot kick off the cage. So I could prepare my whole body right into him, and then, we landed that hook. So, we just knew that him up against the cage, he gets caught with the right hand all the time. Not Anthony Pettis, Darren Till, Woodley, and Kevin Holland. They all caught him while he was up against the cage, right, with the right hand. And we just knew that, once his back was up against the cage, there's nothing that he could do from there. So he just let everything go with bad intentions.
Got you. Yeah, that was a hard shot. And then in the second round, you threw that too, and you hit the cage, and I was like, damn, that was a hard shot.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but you also, I don't know if this was intentional, but like in basketball, right, it's kind of a thing where you angle somebody to where you want them to go, because if they have like a
He
strong
called it
side, so
so.
you
So
angled
this,
him
so this
into it.
whole thing, and I should, well, but I'm gonna give it to you because I fuck with you, right?
All
But
right, all
so
right.
we do a thing for every fight, right? So for the Ruzaboya fight, it was the St. Louis thing. So all the call outs that we did were all like St. Louis street names. You know what I mean? Kings Highway, Lindbergh. For the Vicente Luque, it was a NASA thing. You know what I'm saying? So everything was just like Space Jam. It was Apollo 13. Like just anything had to do with space, right?
Right.
But this one,
For Wonder Boy, or for
yeah,
Vicente.
Vicente. But for Wonder Boy, it was a car accident. We wanted Wonder Boy to die in a car accident, a head-on collision. And the one that you just said right there, we called that roadblock. We want to put him in a roadblock so he can slide out only one direction. So me, like, let's say if I would have fainted across, right? Let's say I'm southpaw and I fainted across, right? We call that the roadblock so he can leak out in the other direction. So we had a lot of calls, what I mean, that just all just leading up to, just anything that had to deal with, driving, so drive meant going forward, park mean, he's just sitting there. Adjust your mirrors when he changes his stance to mine's, right? So it's just like everything that we have, anything that we call out, we always have a theme towards, what we doing. Just so it's quick, right? To me. And then plus, I don't want him to know, right? What we trying to do.
Yeah. So you're always switching them up
We
and
got
stuff too.
we got to. Yeah.
Right. No, I like that. Roadblock's a good name. And in basketball, like they'll do that because if somebody has a strong side that they like drive to the rim to, then you angle them off so they can't drive on their strong side. So that's where I picked that up from, kind of like watching you. I was like, okay, I got you on that one.